Ladies and gentlemen, picture this. Walking into a room and owning it, not because of your title, your wealth, or your looks, but because of how you think and how you communicate. Winners operate on a different frequency. There's a rhythm in their mindset and a force in their words that sets them apart. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's how they see themselves, how they talk to themselves, and how they engage with the world. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you desire isn't your past, your qualifications, or your resources, but the conversations you have with yourself and the boldness to speak up? If you've ever wondered why some people rise while others remain stagnant, the answer lies here, in the words you choose. Next. Winners speak with certainty, even when the path is uncertain. They don't wait for perfect conditions, they create them. The moment you start speaking as if your future is already set, everything shifts. But here's the secret, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. When your mind aligns with power, your words become unstoppable. This isn't about positive thinking, it's about decisive action. Change your language and the world will start paying attention. But just when you think you've got it figured out, there's a deeper truth. The mindset of a winner isn't taught, it's forged through challenges. Every setback sharpens their inner dialogue. Here's the twist, it's not the challenge that breaks most people, it's the silence that follows. What are you telling yourself in that silence? To speak like a winner, you must stop negotiating with your limits. Reprogram that inner voice. Replace doubt with determination. But when the pressure mounts and fear grows louder, will your voice still hold power? Every word you speak is either building your future or holding it back. There's no middle ground. Winners speak from vision, not from memory. But what happens when your vision fades and old doubts creep back in? Thinking like a winner starts with absolute clarity. Then, back that clarity with language that moves mountains. But here's the hidden layer most never uncover. The winners you admire didn't stumble into success. They spoke their way into it. Their self-talk was a strategy. Yet there's one phrase they never use, and it might be the very thing holding you back. You can't fake conviction. You either live it or you don't. A winner's vocabulary doesn't include maybe or someday, but once you cut those words out, what replaces them can either set you free or keep you stuck. The words you whisper in defeat matter more than the words you shout in victory. That's where winners are made. But when life gets quiet, are you still listening to yourself? Or have you lost touch with your potential? Every great leader, every true champion speaks as if their future is inevitable. Not out of arrogance, but with deliberate certainty. And when the world calls them unrealistic, they lean in. Will you? If you want to change your life, change your language. Don't just describe your situation, declare your transformation. But transformation comes with a price. Are you ready to pay it? There's a rhythm to the speech of winners, a cadence of certainty and power. They speak in alignment with who they're becoming. But when your current reality doesn't match your words, you either retreat or repeat. Winners know that language is energy, and energy attracts results. If your words carry doubt, don't be surprised when your life reflects it. What if one small change in your phrasing unlocked everything? When you think like a winner, your decisions shift. Your questions evolve. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if this changes everything? But here's the real question. Will you be ready when it does? It's easy to talk like a winner when things are going well. The test is what you say when it all falls apart. That's where champions are born. When everything crumbles, what will come out of your mouth? Winners don't just say what they want, they speak what they expect. That single shift electrifies their actions. But there's one expectation they never reveal until the moment it matters most. You've heard that thoughts become things, but only when those thoughts become words and those words become commands. What are you commanding your life to do without even realizing it? Your vocabulary is your vehicle. Winners choose high-performance language, not neutral words. But what happens when that vehicle runs out of fuel? The answer may surprise you. Talking like a winner means choosing impact over ego. You don't speak to impress, you speak to influence. But when no one's watching and there's nothing to prove, do you still speak like it? The most powerful person in any room is the one whose language matches their identity. Not who they are, but who they've decided to become. That decision comes with a cost. Winners don't wait for motivation, they speak in a way that creates it. But when the fire fades and comfort creeps in, how do they reignite the spark? The mindset of a winner isn't loud, it's precise. Every word has direction, every sentence is a step forward, but if you're not careful, the words you're ignoring could be the ones that save you. You can talk like a winner or wish like a loser. You can't do both. Your language is either creating momentum or killing it. But what if the next sentence you speak changes everything? Thinking like a winner means silencing the voice of limitation with the volume of possibility. But when the volume gets too loud, will you recognize the truth underneath it? What separates the ordinary from the elite isn't talent, it's inner dialogue. That unspoken script running your life is writing your results. But how do you rewrite a script? Winners aren't fearless, they're fluent in courage. Their words override fear, but when the pressure rises and the stakes climb, do you still speak with courage, or do you slip into comfort? The way you talk in the face of failure reveals everything. Winners don't deny the pain, they declare the purpose behind it. But when pain becomes your language, can you ever truly win? Most people react, winners respond. They use language as a lever, not a label. But there's one moment where even winners hesitate. And that moment defines them. When you start thinking and talking like a winner, you'll lose people who speak the language of limitation. But what you gain isn't just success, it's something far more powerful. The words you speak when you're alone shape your destiny more than any applause ever will. That private conversation, it's either building or breaking your future. But who's really leading it? Winners don't just speak goals, they speak identity. I am is the most powerful phrase on the planet, but what comes after those two words can either limit you or launch you. The language of winners is soaked in ownership. No blame, no excuses, just results. But when the results don't come, how do they keep speaking life into the storm? What you tolerate in your language, you accept in your life. That casual negativity is costing you more than you think. What if you flip the script? Starting today, a winner doesn't just ask, how can I? They ask, who must I become? And they answer with their words long before the world catches up. But becoming that person starts with one sentence. In every conversation, you're either programming yourself for power or permission. Winners choose power, but what happens when the conversation is with your past? You can speak fear or speak faith, but never both at once. Your words will follow your focus. But if your focus has been hijacked, how do you reclaim it? The real win isn't external, it's mastering the internal narrative. That's where true freedom begins. But what if the greatest story you'll ever tell is the one you're afraid to speak? Winners speak their dreams into reality, not once, but relentlessly, until the dream gets tired of being talked about and decides to show up. But when it does, will you be ready to receive it? Winners don't just hope, they declare. Their words are a preview of what's coming. But when doubt whispers louder than desire, whose voice will you trust? The moment you stop entertaining the language of lack, your life starts accelerating. But acceleration without direction, that's a crash waiting to happen. Thinking like a winner means becoming fluent in the impossible. They don't ask if they can, they ask how fast they can make it happen. But sometimes speed hides something deeper. There's a frequency winners tune into, a level where language unlocks power, but most never get there because they're too busy echoing the noise around them. Will you find the signal? Winners use language to align with outcomes, not emotions. They don't speak how they feel, they speak what they want to feel. But when emotions scream, can your words stay steady? You don't need more motivation, you need more clarity, and clarity speaks in short, sharp commands. But when life gets blurry, can you still speak with precision? Winners speak like it's already done. Every sentence is a blueprint, not a question. But what if you've been building someone else's vision with your words? Winners narrate from the end result, not the current chaos. They speak from the mountaintop before they've even left the valley. But that takes something most never talk about. The real power isn't in how loud you speak. It's in how aligned your language is with your future. But when the noise outside gets deafening, can you still hear your own voice? You become what you repeatedly declare. Winners know that, but they also know this. Most people are repeating declarations of defeat. What are you unknowingly rehearsing? Talking like a winner doesn't start when the cameras are on. It starts when no one's listening, when the only audience is doubt. But in that moment, what do you say? Your words are invitations. Winners only invite possibility, growth, and action. But what have you been unknowingly inviting in? You don't speak to describe your life, you speak to design it. That's the winner's way. But designing without direction, that's where dreams quietly die. Every sentence you speak is setting a standard. Winners set higher ones and then rise to meet them. But what happens when your old identity resists the new standard? Winners speak with urgency, not desperation, but purpose. They know time is currency, but if time is your most valuable asset, what are your words investing in? Your vocabulary is either a weapon or a weakness. It either defends your vision or, when pressure builds, will your words protect your potential or destroy it? Winners don't dilute their language to make others comfortable. They don't shrink their speech to fit small rooms. But what if the small room is in your own mind? A winner's language makes the future feel familiar. They talk like it's already theirs. But when it doesn't arrive on your timeline, can you still speak with belief? Winners speak strategy, not sympathy, power, not pity, direction, not distraction. But what if the language you crave isn't the language you've been taught? The conversation you're having with yourself right now is shaping your next chapter. Winners write theirs in bold. But is your inner dialogue stuck in a previous version of you? Winners talk in outcomes, not obstacles. They speak to move, not to muse. But when standing still feels safer, what will your voice choose? To think and talk like a winner means declaring war on your own limitations. It's a battle of language before it's ever a battle of action. But the final enemy? That's still ahead. Winners don't rehearse fear, they rehearse victory. In their mind, in their mouth. But what if the script you've been memorizing was never yours to begin with? You won't rise above the level of conversation you entertain. Winners change the conversation first, then the world follows. But what if the loudest voice is the one trying to hold you back? Every winning moment was once just a sentence, a declaration made long before proof arrived. But how long can you speak with faith before results show up? Winners speak from identity, not insecurity, from the future, not frustration. But when the pain of now screams louder than the promise of later, what do they say? Talking like a winner is a daily discipline. It's not hype, it's habit. But what if your current habits are fluent in hesitation? Your words are your world. Every declaration is a brick. Every sentence is a wall or a window, but which are you building? Winners don't just talk differently, they listen differently. They hear opportunity in places where others hear noise. But when silence hits, do you still hear direction? Winners never outsource their voice. They don't borrow belief, they build it. But what if you've been waiting for someone else to give you permission? The way you talk when it looks like nothing is working, that's when it counts most. That's the conversation that creates champions. And that moment, it's coming faster than you think. Winners don't wait for the perfect moment to speak, they create it. They speak like the outcome is already locked in. But when the pressure hits and certainty wavers, will your voice still carry? It's not about having the right words, it's about owning them. Winners don't speak to be right. They speak to be real. But when real gets raw, will you keep showing up? Language becomes legacy. What you keep saying becomes what you keep creating. But what if the words you've been using are from someone else's playbook? You can't speak defeat and expect to win. You can't think small and live big. But what happens when small talk feels safer than bold truth? Thinking like a winner starts with asking better questions, but the real growth begins when you dare to answer them honestly. Winners don't need to be understood, they need to be aligned. Their words match their walk. But when people push back, will you shrink or speak louder? Your life bends toward the story you tell. Winners tell it with intensity. What if rewriting your story means burning the old one down? Winners speak the language of elevation. Every conversation is a step up. But the real test? I talk when no one's clapping. You either talk to yourself or the world talks at you. Winners choose the conversation. But when the noise gets too loud, can you still hear your mission? Every declaration is a decision. Winners don't speak from where they are, they speak from where they're headed. But when the path disappears, do the words keep flowing? Talking like a winner means going first. First to believe, first to decide, first to claim it. But what if the only thing in your way is hesitation? Their tone is tuned to truth, not trends. Winners don't adapt to doubt, they interrupt it. But doubt is clever. Are you ready for its next disguise? You can change your environment, you can change your habits, but until you change your language, nothing sticks. What have you been reinforcing without even realizing it? Winners don't just speak goals, they speak destiny. Every word is an arrow, and they never aim at average. But when the target moves, how fast can you adjust? Winners practice conviction like it's a craft. Their language is deliberate, not desperate. But what do they say when they feel unsure? You'll never outgrow the identity you keep describing. Winners speak higher, even when they don't feel it yet. But who are you becoming every time you open your mouth? They know the fastest way to rewire a belief is to say it before you see it. But can you stay committed to that belief when the evidence says otherwise? Winners remove try from their vocabulary. They speak with certainty because action follows language. But when failure knocks twice, will you answer with power or passivity? Even in breakdown, they speak breakthrough. Not because they're naive, but because they know words shape momentum. But momentum without direction, that's the next test. They don't echo their past, they declare their future. It's not just mindset, it's mouth set. But when the past starts speaking louder, can you still interrupt it? Talking like a winner requires a level of honesty most people run from. Radical honesty, relentless hope. But can you be that honest with yourself? Their words are calibrated for change, not comfort, not consensus, change. But change has a cost. Are you still willing to speak it into existence? You can't fake alignment. People feel it. Energy doesn't lie. Winners speak in a way that makes people lean in. But what happens when you're the one needing alignment? The words you choose either reinforce limits or destroy them. There's no in between. But what if the limits are hidden in the words you say every day? Winners build mental muscle through vocal mastery. They don't whisper goals. They roar them into reality. But what if your whisper is louder than someone else's shout? They know silence can be powerful, but only when chosen, not when surrendered. Are you choosing your silence or hiding behind it? They don't flirt with success. They commit to it with their full voice. But what happens when the echo comes back empty? Every time they speak, they shape identity. Not only their own, but everyone listening. But what identity are you unconsciously reinforcing with your words? Talking like a winner isn't about sounding confident, it's about becoming congruent. But congruence takes consistency, and consistency is where most people crack. They know emotion adds power, but precision adds impact. A winner speaks from both emotion and clarity. But when emotion clouds vision, which voice do they follow? The words you use today will echo into your future. Every phrase is a seed, but what are you planting? And are you ready for the harvest? Thinking like a winner is a radical decision to take ownership of your reality. It's waking up every day and choosing your narrative instead of borrowing one from your circumstance. The voice in your head is the loudest one in your life, and if you don't command it, it will command you. But what if the real shift doesn't happen in public? It begins with one private declaration that no one hears but you. Winners know that before you ever win in the world, you must win in your words. They understand that the way you talk about a thing determines how you experience it. Want to level up your life? Start by leveling up your language. Speak like it's already yours. Speak like it's already happening. But when the results take longer than expected, will your voice hold the same conviction? The secret isn't just speaking positively, it's speaking powerfully. Positivity is fleeting. Power is sustainable. Winners speak with purpose even when there's no proof yet. They build the bridge between now and what's next with every phrase they release. But here's the twist. Most people abandon the bridge halfway across. Every time you open your mouth, you reinforce identity, not just to others, but to yourself. And winners protect that identity like it's sacred, because it is. It's who they're becoming, but the moment you let fear sneak into your words, it starts rewriting your identity, one subtle sentence at a time. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your dialogue. Winners know this. That's why when they're tired, frustrated, or uncertain, they don't retreat, they reset their language. But how do you train yourself to speak faith when you're drowning in doubt? They don't deny the struggle, but they never make it the headline. Winners talk like the storm is passing, not permanent. They speak like transformation is inevitable, but when you're stuck in the in-between, no longer who you were, not yet who you're becoming, what story will you tell? Talking like a winner doesn't mean you're pretending. It means you're positioning. You're setting your frequency to the version of you that's already done it. That's not illusion, that's vision with a voice. But when no one else sees it, do you still believe it's real? Language is leverage. You can use it to lift your life or bury your belief. Winners speak with strategy. They don't throw words around. They place them with purpose. But what if the words you've been casually speaking are the very ones keeping you stuck? There's a shift that happens when your words stop describing your life and start directing it. That's where winners live. They don't commentate on what is, they command what will be. But commanding requires courage, and courage comes with a cost most avoid paying. Even in failure, they speak like it's fuel. Even in loss, they speak legacy. They know every setback has a script. The question is, are you going to write it or let it write you? You want to know the difference between those who dream and those who do? Language. Winners talk like action is inevitable. They talk like momentum is. Winners don't say if, they say when. But when takes longer than expected, does your voice still match your vision? They don't beg reality to shift. They speak it into submission. That's the power of intentional language. But when your mouth is full of contradiction, don't be surprised when your life feels confusing. Winners speak in alignment, not anxiety. They talk from clarity, not chaos. And even when the world is on fire, they find words that create direction. But when the fire burns close to home, will you still speak like the leader of your life? The way you speak when no one's watching is the purest reflection of who you believe you are. Winners speak victory when there's no scoreboard. They speak peace when there's pressure. But what if your silence has been rehearsing fear instead of faith? They don't wait until they feel like a winner. They talk like one until the feeling shows up, and then they keep going. Because for them, language isn't reactive. But when your energy is gone and your hope is thin, can your words still carry weight? Your language isn't just shaping your life, it's shaping your relationships, your opportunities, your atmosphere. Winners don't just speak to be heard, they speak to move people. But before you move others, have you moved yourself? The way winners talk about problems is different. They don't use language that glorifies pain, they use words that extract power from it. But when the pain is deep and fresh, can your voice still access purpose? Even in silence, they speak. Their presence, their posture, their energy, it all communicates belief. But what message have you been sending without even opening your mouth? Winners don't speak to match the room, they speak to elevate it. They don't water down truth to avoid conflict, they don't shrink their voice to stay likable. But when rejection comes, can you still speak like you're worthy? They know that transformation begins in repetition. Saying it once isn't enough. They declare it over and over until it becomes their new normal, but repetition without belief? That's where most people give up. Language isn't just a tool, it's a thermometer. It shows you where your mindset really is. Winners check their language daily like vital signs. But what do your words reveal about the health of your belief? You can fake a smile, you can fake hustle, but you can't fake alignment. It shows in your language. Winners align every sentence with their standard. But when your standards get tested, will your words still rise to meet them? They understand that life listens. The universe responds to language wrapped in certainty. So they speak like it's already working. But when results are slow, they still speak like it's done. Winners use words like I will, I am, and it's happening. They don't flirt with doubt. They don't entertain language that weakens. But what have you been tolerating in your vocabulary that's keeping you small? Their inner talk is ruthless. In the best way, they coach themselves. They correct themselves, not with shame, but with strategy. But what happens when your inner critic sounds louder than your inner coach? Winners don't wait for the world to catch up. They speak ahead of the curve. They talk from the future backward, and eventually, the world follows. But what do you do while you wait for the echo? They speak grace with grit, hope with hunger, boldness with humility, but most of all, they speak with consistency. Because they know it's not what you say once, it's what you say over and over again that builds destiny. And the most powerful thing? Winners don't just speak for themselves, they speak for everyone still trying to find their voice. Their language lifts others. It gives permission, it breaks cycles, but the world can't hear that message if you stay quiet, so speak. Speak like your future is listening. Speak like your children are watching. Speak like your next level depends on it, because it does. Every conversation is a crossroads. Every sentence is a seed. Every word is a weapon or a wound. If something sparked in you today, don't ignore it. That fire, that shift, that voice inside saying, this is who I'm meant to be, listen to it. Winners don't wait for permission. They decide, they speak it, and they speak it, and they become it. So if you're ready to stop thinking like a spectator and start living like a champion, hit that subscribe button and join a community that talks differently, thinks sharper, and moves with purpose. Drop a comment, share this with your future circle of winners, and remember, your next level doesn't need more time, it needs a new voice. Make it yours, starting now.